Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with my retro movie review of Predator 2, with The Predator, the fourth installment in the series, coming up next week. Actually, I figured I might as well do retroactive reviews of the previous films in the series. Not now. Quick, as mentioned in the last one for Predator, I will not be doing Alien vs. Predator in this, as that's something different. I think those will probably be set aside for should a third Alien AVP movie come out. Anyway, so from now, in my experience, I've come to notice that Predator 2 is actually rather divisive amongst fans of the franchise. I think a lot of people wanted more of the same from the some fans at least wanted more of the same from the original movie, excuse me. Another jungle, another batch of bigger than life action star types fighting a Yautja, and yeah, instead we got a Yautja taking on drug dealers and cops in Los Angeles. It's worth noting that potentially speaking, it was at least somewhat inspired by the Predator Concrete Jungle miniseries and graphic novel published by Dark Horse Comics between Predator and Predator 2. So anyway, let's talk about. I mentioned the cast. I'm actually one of the people who rather enjoy this movie, not just because of the nod to the Alien franchise, but I actually think it's a good sequel. It did something different, and yet it did something different while still being similar. Now, it kind of showed that different does not necessarily work, but we'll get into that later. So anyways, the cast. We've got the movie focuses largely on the officers of Metro Command, led by Lieutenant Mike Harrigan, played by Danny Glover. You've got Danny Archuleta, played by Ruben Blades, Deanna Cantrell, played by Maria Conchita Alonso, and Jerry Lambert, played by the late Bill Paxton. Then you've got Then you've got their captain, Captain Pilgrim, played by Kent McCord, and then the deputy chief, Phil Hyman, played by Robert Davi. Also, of note character-wise, is the Otherworld Life Form Task Force, led by Peter Keyes, played by Gary Busey. And then there's his second in command, Garber, played by Adam Baldwin, and those two are the only members of the OWLF that are really noteworthy. Next up, we've got Tony Pope, I don't want to call him a news reporter, but a schlock reporter, I guess, for the schlock news show Hardcore, played by the late Morton Downey Jr. Now, of course, you have actually a multitude of Yautja, namely due to the ending. And as far as I can tell, they were all played by the late Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Yautja in the first movie. Now, a character that is really not of note, but maybe should be. Well, at least performance-wise, El Scorpio, played by Henry Kingi. To me, it's noteworthy because Henry Kingi is a face you're gonna recognize from about 1 billion different henchman types. In fact, he also played one of the gorillas in the first Predator, interestingly enough. But he's been in a large number of action movies, largely doing usually doing stunt-related work, or just and kind of oh hey, you're well you're doing stunt work. Yeah, we need another henchman. Can you stand right there and hold this? Yeah. Run around holding that, and it'll lead to the next thing you got to do anyway. So yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that's our noteworthy cast, I should say. So anyways, the movie itself, in a I don't want to necessarily say they call it a record heat wave, but during an LA heat wave, and those happen a lot. Mixed in with drought, a Yautja hunter shows up and starts going through the streets. He goes after rival drug gangs. The cops fight; they're also fighting them, and of course, the cops that get involved largely are the officers of Metro Command, led by Lieutenant Harrigan. At the second massacre, Danny, Archuleta, and Harrigan notice a spear tip stuck in a vent shaft, and somehow the Otherworld Lifeform Task Force agents who arrive under the pretense of being DEA, by the way, I might add, Danny waits around, goes to retrieve it, but the Yautja was also there to also realize, hey, I need to pick this up before anyone notices, before anyone finds it. This leads to Danny meeting the Predator in the worst way possible and being killed by him. Then at the same time, they're also working with a new addition to their group, Jerry Lambert, who's transferred from Rampart Station. And early on, we get the idea that he's kind of a showboat, but he's quickly, put in his place by Harrigan, who says, "Hey, look, man, you work for the team. If you're there for the team, we're there for you. We're there for you. Door swings both ways. Kind of a, scratch my back, I scratch yours. Or at least I'll make sure your back gets scratched." Then one of the major drug lords is actually killed by the Yautja after meeting with Harrigan. And we actually get our first. This leads to another close up of the more, I'm loath to call it civilized, but ship-based cleaning and setting of a trophy. As the trophy sequence shown in Predator is kind of a quick and dirty, hey, I should clean off my trophies right now. Yeah, all right, there, that's good enough. We actually get to see the insides of a Yautja ship as well, though it looks to be a different build than the one shown in the beginning of Predator, and the ones in fact shown for in every other Predator, in all other Predator media. But not the point. But yeah. After a massacre on a subway, which kills armed civilians as well as Jerry, Harrigan goes after the Yautja, runs into the Otherworld Lifeform Task Force guys, and finds out they need to capture him. They fail spectacularly, and leader of the team of the task force, Peter Keyes, is allowed to live longer because of Harrigan's arrival, but he removes the Predator's Yautja's mask and starts to say the same thing Schwarzenegger did, and he's cut off by the Yautja saying, finishing up with motherfucker. Then he kills Keyes and then goes after Harrigan. And Harrigan manages to. It gets to a point where the Yautja realizes, okay, I'm screwed. My options are leave this stuff with leave tech all over the damn place, or blow myself up. So he's working on the latter, but gets his wrist computer with the bomb, with the pocket nuke cut off about mid forearm by his own weapon, no less. We get a better look at the Predator's the Yautja first aid kit. There's a lot to it. There's more than just a lot more than we saw in Predator. This leads to, and then Harrigan chases the Yautja down and discovers the ship, fights the Yautja in the kind of a central common area in the ship and kills him. And then the rest of the Yautjas aboard, decloak, and their leader, they take the dead one, or they take their dead, and their leader kind of bestows a gift upon Harrigan for having bested one of his in combat. A flintlock. I actually need to look up the date on that. I should have looked that up. Damnity damn. I feel. Alrighty. The antique flintlock, as I recall, dated. Okay, Wikipedia doesn't say, but the antique flintlock dated, as I recall, 1715. There's actually a Dark Horse comic book story explaining how that elder Predator elder Yautja came into possession of said flintlock, and having heard a kind of rundown version of it, it seems actually pretty cool. Anyway, so the ship leaves. Garber chastises, having taken command of the OWLF, chastises Harrigan a little bit, claiming that they were so close to capturing one, and Harrigan just kind of hold him, don't worry, they'll be back. You'll get your chance. Anyway, so some differences between the first two Predator movies, aside from the obvious, of course. First off, Predator has an amusing take on schlock media with its and the news media in general, but focusing more on schlock media, which in the early '90s was kind of a big thing. A supporting character, as mentioned, is Tony Pope, who runs a schlock news show called Hardcore, supposed to be, reminiscent of Hard Copy, which was a big deal at the time, or in the early '90s when Predator 2 came out. However, early on, we also see some news reporters reporting on what's going on in the very beginning. And in fact, you get a news reporter who is reporting on what's going on, and then bullets fly near her and ricochet around her, and she's like, "Oh fuck this! Get me out of here!" There's also an interview with someone whose food stand got destroyed in the shootout, and he gets shot at. Him and the reporters interviewing him get shot. It's kind of a they will get as close as they need to for a story, it seems. But I don't necessarily feel like it was supposed to be a bashing of news media as a whole. Schlock news media, absolutely, but not news media as a whole. The movie jumps right into the action, whereas the first Predator had a very slow build to the first action scene. I want to say there's probably a good half hour at least that goes by before we get like I said, the first action sequence of the movie, which is the attack on the guerrilla base. What little time while it's got a higher body count, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Now, okay, the rule of sorts in horror movies is you have to have if you're doing a sequel, it's got to have a higher body count. You killed 5 people in your first movie, well, your second movie, you better kill at least 6. Doing rough estimations, because you don't, especially with the subway killing, I figure the city Yautja killed about 20 to 25 people. Of those 20 to 25 people, 4 of them are named. Like, definitively named and given named and give at least somewhat of a backstory and dialogue, and potentially even reason to give a shit. And the other 21 just nameless deaths kind of lessen the impact of the 4. Whereas in Predator, we had a 6? Yeah. Body count of 6. And they were all characters that we got to know quite well throughout the movie. And it was kind of, oh man, they just killed that guy. Oh, they killed this guy. This is kind of a, oh hey, look, the Predator just killed, a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of drug dealers that, they're being drug dealers. Or, oh, damn, they killed, and then it's kind of, yeah, of course you got the, oh shit, they just killed Danny. And then, but still, it just doesn't, yeah. We also get to see more weaponry and just gadgetry of the Yautja. In addition to the aforementioned expanded look at the med kit, there's also the collapsible spear or combi stick. I like just calling it a spear, but hey, whatever. Also, the first iteration of the disc, which the AVP iterations kind of made it into a shuriken, which I'm not too fond of. Yeah. Now, I've done another thing I liked is the fact that, I kind of segued into things I liked. So yeah. But, differences though. While there's a very clear, we don't trust the government attitude with Dutch and his team in the first movie, we get in this it goes from so Wonder why, what were these Green Berets doing here? What can you tell us about that, Dylan? I don't know nothing, man. Nothing at all. Ignore the fact that I'm burning these documents. Ignore nothing wrong. I don't know. No, I don't know about nothing. But in this, it's much more blatant. In fact, Keyes plays much more of an antagonist role to Harrigan. Hell, Keyes and Garber both. In fact, Garber at one point even offers to kill Harrigan, but he does have a brief bit of redemption. Keyes does get a brief moment of redemption right before his death, or at least almost redemption. So, that's aside from the obvious, Well, okay, our heroes are not shown to be just like bigger than life. They're they kind of come off as being a bit more human. These are these are regular guys. Sure, they're cops and they're embroiled in the middle of they're stuck in the middle of a gang war, but this is a job that anyone could have applied for. So, some things I liked. What little time that we see the Metro Command team together in the movie, their chemistry of various types, too, I might add, is obvious. Hell, the chemistry with the cast in general. Glover is excellent with both of his bosses, Pilgrim and Heineman. You can actually, the way that he interacts with Archuleta, it's obvious that the two were close, and they do kind of expand on themselves. They came up together, 15 years on the beat together, so on, and I like the increased. I actually really like the increased Yautja weaponry. That was really cool. Also, it seems there's various people, as well as various other Predator stories, have hinted at the idea of worthy prey, and this kind of gives us that. For example, the Predator, the Yautja has no reason to kill King Willie when at the point he does. It's he simply, in fact, if anything, King Willie seems, a shaman rather than a warrior, but he does. Yeah, it does kind of. Also, the way there's a scene where the Yautja, Harrigan goes to visit Archuleta's grave, and the Yautja watches from the trees and then messes with him, and even leaves Archuleta's necklace for for Harrigan to find. And it's like he is being messed with. So it kind of has that suggestion going on, but anyway, I dig that. It's an interesting concept, and I think that it's been played out better in, especially in comic books. So something that I wasn't too fond of. The supporting cast goes from being barely more than two-dimensional to just, set design with a pulse. Oh, damn it! One thing I did forget to mention, the things I liked. The various fights the fight scenes between Harrigan and the Ouch are quite fun to watch. And then his Harrigan's chasing down of the Ouch through the apartment building, and the flintlock makes for an interesting plot point. But yeah, the supporting cast is barely more than two-dimensional at best. We get little snippets to, okay, this is this character's deal, this is that character's deal. And with Keyes, it kind of seems to me like, now this is another thing. So Keyes' plan to capture the Yautja. Like, oh yes, well we discovered that he comes to feed at this slaughterhouse every couple days, so we've been setting a trap for him. And we got some dust particles in the air that'll make him invisible, and we've got these suits that keep our body heat. They keep our body heated, and then we've got these liquid nitrogen guns and all this. And, because we figure he sees heat, so if we're not giving off any heat, he can't see us. Now, of course, it's flawed in ways that he didn't realize, that he didn't take into account. Namely, the fact that the helmet allows the Yautja to switch through visual styles, and including ultraviolet, so you're able to see the team. And this may be negated by the fact that it's a slaughterhouse and therefore it's already cold. But I would think the suits, keep, basically let off no body heat. I would think that would end up making just like a complete dark spot. Like, there's a moving dark spot. Nice try, guys. But I've also never dealt with ultraviolet. That could just be, a mistake on my part, or an assumption on my part that, yeah. And yeah, like I mentioned, the thing with the body count, it's one thing, because there have been slasher movies where nameless victims, but they don't outnumber, and especially not vastly outnumber, the named victims. And the fact that, like I said, you've got a body count of 25 to 30, I would say between 20 and 30, so we'll just call it 25. And 4 of them have names, like actual names, and names, backstories, etc. Yeah, maybe it should not be that much of a difference, or rather, there should be more named characters that were killed rather than cannon fodder types. And that's also kind of the down, but but that's also kind of, you know, one of the downsides of the different setting is that you've got a lot more people around. There's a much larger possibility for random death, for the deaths of nameless people. But yeah, anyway, so all in all, though, even with the things I don't like about the movie, even with my criticisms, I still do enjoy Predator 2. It's a fun movie. Like I said, it did something different, and I think it did something different. All in all, it did it well, and it kind of showed why maybe different is not the best idea. So that said, I really got I got to figure out some kind of rating system for movies. We'll talk about that. That's something I'll deal with later. So yeah, Predator 2. I dug it, and I'm going to be doing a review of Predator Predators shortly before going to see The Predator next week. Anyway, that's all I got for today. As always, this is Rock and Roll Spot signing off. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my social media are in the description box down below. And Rock and Roll Spot signing off, saying live long and rock hard.